And wallahi, I've told this story before. قَسَمًا لِمَنْ أَحَلَّ الْقَسَمَ, I swear by the Lord who permitted swearing by him. I remember a story of an auntie that came to the masjid. This is a true story. The woman who did it, I heard it from her own ears. She's a family auntie. She went to the masjid, listen to the story, and they were praying Salat, Ramadan, Taraweeh, Qiyam al-Layl. People are praying, indulged in ibadah and reciting Quran and adhkar and etc. There were aunties in the masjid, they were praying. A new woman came into the masjid, not seen before. She's new to the neighborhood. No one's seen her before. They asked her questions. They interrogated her because they know each other. They've seen each other in the masjid, but they haven't seen her. They asked her a question. They said, listen, where are you from? We haven't seen you around. She's like, I'm fresh. I just come from the country. I've not been in the country for too long. Oh, where do you live? She's like, I don't know the area very well, but she described it, and they finally came to know where she lives. Okay. Interrogating her now. Look, she's new. She's new to the country. She's come to the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Guess what? They asked her questions. They say, how do you live? Do you have children? Are you married? Where's your husband? Questions after questions. First of all, that's none of their business. It's got nothing to do with them. Asking people's personal lives. And this is another issue that we have. Everyone wants to know what this other person's personal life is. One of the great qualities of a believer is that you do not concern yourself with that which doesn't concern you. So this sister's asking questions, interrogating her, wanting to know these things with, la shakka wa la rayb, from what you're going to know in the story, they had bad maqsad, bad intent behind why they asked these questions. The sister told them, I've come here, I live here, my husband brought me, and etc. They said to her, where's your income? Where do you get money from? She said, my husband works. What about your children? I think she mentioned a good number of children that she had, 5 or something. I don't remember the figure, but it was a good number of children. They said to her, but you're entitled. Oh, look at this, look at this. So the masjid has now become a place where you destroy people's families. So they said to her, do you know that you're entitled to have money for your children? She said, no, I didn't know that. Yeah, the government gives you money. Even if your husband works, he's full-time working, there's money that you're entitled to have for your children. This is something that the government permits for you. Ajib. See, they're now, sister, no, I didn't know that. No, my husband gives us everything. No, sister, these are things that you should have. It's your haqq. You need to grow up, take experience from us. We came to this country. You can't attach yourself to your husband and this and that. Mushkila. They went as far as getting her to call her husband whilst in the masjid and saying, ask him, right now. Yeah, you can. So she calls her husband. Maybe most likely he didn't have a good day that day. He was frustrated, upset, angry, and she called him and she said, is it true that you take this money? Why haven't you told me? Why am I hearing it now for the first time? And etc. He said, do I not provide for you? What does it matter? I'm the Rabbul Bayt, etc. I'm not judging what he did. Is it right? Is it wrong? That's another discussion, what I believe about that. But the point here right now is, and the focus point here in the story is, this sister is now interrogating her husband. Why? Because of what these other sisters have told her in the masjid, the house of Allah. The husband gets angry on the phone and goes, listen, you know what? You're divorced. Ooh. She puts the phone down. She's in a state of shock. She doesn't know where to start from. And guess what, my brothers and sisters? They've led that sister to leave the country by her husband. Because remember, he brought her into the country. The paperwork haven't been finalized. He ended the entire marriage and he sent her back and said, khalas, those kids, their mother. He said, if you're saying this to me now, and you've not even been here for a while, what are you going to do a few years into this marriage and a few years living in this country? You're just going to give me a headache. Go back to the country. Again, what he did, what is he doing? I'm not talking about judging between the two of them now, but I just want to show you the masjid, the women in the masjid to get involved in that type of situation and that type of family issues. What has it got to do with you? What does that have anything to do with you, sister? Whether he's right or wrong, whether he's a good husband or not, leave that to the people of knowledge. Leave that to the wise people of the tribe or the family or the relatives to deal with this issue. But as a sister, to be the cause of destroying someone's marriage in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that says a lot about you. That says a lot about you. And I'm telling you, sisters, wallahi, my sisters, especially the Westerners, sisters, wallahi, fear Allah in what you say about people. Wallahi, protect your tongues. You're throwing allegations and accusations بدون دليل ولا برهان. It's all based on speculation. Fulan said this, but so-and-so said this, and you're gossiping. Wallah, you're going to stand in front of Allah yawm al-qiyamah, and you're naked, uncircumcised. You're going to be shoeless. You're going to be standing in front of Allah, and you're going to be judged. And every good deed that you have done and you've put together will be taken by that person. So now think about it. Think wisely. Do you want your good deeds being taken by someone? And if your good deeds finish, you start taking the sins and the mistakes and the wrongdoings of somebody else. Think wisely about it. Fear Allah in what you say and you do in the house of Allah and who you talk about. And by the way, generally, protect your tongue. Let alone what the sisters are doing on social media, talking about this person and talking about that person and talking about this imam and talking about that person or that sheikh or that talib or that other sister in the masjid. Yani sisters have complained that other sisters are the reason why they don't come to the masjid. In the West, if a sister or a brother is not connected to the masjid, as the Prophet, he said in the hadith, it reminds me of that hadith, which is إِنَّ الذِّئْبَ يَأْكُلُ الْغَنَمُ الْقَاصِي, that the wolf will eat the goat that's by itself. If you're not in the Muslim community, you're not in the masjid, and you stay away from the masjid in the Western countries, your iman will just go down. Like a thermometer, the percentage will just go down until you find yourself questioning Islam and whether this religion is for you. Trust me. And one of the ways to protect your deen in those countries that you guys have chosen to live in is to be in the masajid. رِجَالٌ وَنِسَاءً, men or women. I say that even for the sisters, because a lot of them in their households don't have a structure of Islam. If that sister is connected to the masjid because of lessons, and she's connected to that lesson for khair and good, and you become a mu'awwiq, an obstacle to prevent her from coming to the masjid because of your gossips and your shaming and your name calling, what are you going to say to Allah yawm al-qiyamah? Are you not scared that you might enter the verse of Allah, وَمَنْ أَظْلَمُ مِمَّنْ مَنَعَ مَسَاجِدَ اللَّهِ أَنْ يُذْكَرَ فِيهَا اسْمُهُ? Maybe, I'm not saying that you are, but maybe that you might enter those people who are preventing the people of remembering Allah in His house by your gossips and by causing sisters to leave. Taqillah. Sisters, adorn yourself with good characteristics and mannerism when you're in the masjid. There are people, different cultures and different ethnicities and different characters and different this. There are people who are old, senior in age. Have respect. Come with respect when you come to the masjid. You're coming to the house of Allah tabarak wa ta'ala. If you come to somebody else's house, you won't fight inside that person's house. Respect the house. The same way, and even more, you should respect the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there definitely no vulgar language or shouting or screaming. That's not what the place is for. The salah is to prohibit you and to cleanse you from any deficiencies, and the masjid is meant to bring you back to a state of piety and nobility. إِنَّ الصَّلَاةَ تَنْهَى عَنِ الْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنْكَرِ وَلَذِكْرُ اللَّهِ أَكْبَرُ وَاللَّهُ يَعْلَمُ مَا تَصْنَعُونَ. Surah Al-Ankabut, Allah mentions that subhanahu wa ta'ala. That the salah, the purpose is to prohibit you and stop you from al-fahsha, vulgar and munkar and evil. وَلَذِكْرُ اللَّهِ أَكْبَرُ. The remembrance of Allah is great. So you're here, remember Allah, engage in dhikr and adhkar. Sadly, wallahi, some sisters, they come to the masjid to backbite and to talk about other people's honor, other people's reputation, other people's livelihood, other people's life. Taqillah, you can't even do that outside. How are you going to come to the house of Allah and do that? Some people are gossiping about other people in the masjid, in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're talking about a sister who's come to the masjid, who's reverted, for example, and she's got tattoo, and now she's repented, and now she's pious, she's on the path of obeying her Lord and Allah. She might be higher in rank and position than this auntie who's been born Muslim all her life. But what's she doing? She's speaking about that sister's appearance, and she's talking about what she's got and how and etc. Or she's talking about another auntie in the masjid, and there's backbiting and all of that going on. The Prophet, look what he told us. In Hadith Abi Hurairah, it was said to the Prophet, Ya Rasulullah, inna fulana taqumu al-Layl. There's a woman, she prays Qiyam al-Layl, wa tasumu al-Nahar, and she's fasting the whole day. Wa taf'alu wa tasaddaq. She goes and she does sadaqah, and this woman's righteous. But guess what? She harms her neighbor with her tongue. But the Prophet, he said, this woman, there's no khair in her. They said, innaha, she stands up at night, wa tasumu al-Nahar, wa taf'alu wa tasaddaq. She gives sadaqah, she does. The Prophet, he said, this woman, there's no khair in her. She's from the women of the people of the Hellfire. Then they told her another woman. This woman, she only prays obligatory prayer. She gives dry yogurt or whatever, things like that. She doesn't harm anybody. She gives very basic stuff. She only prays her 5 daily prayers. No Qiyam al-Layl, nothing like that. فَقَالَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ, the Prophet, he said, this woman is from the people of Jannah. So sister, you're coming to the house of Allah and you're sitting at the back and you're gossiping about Fulana has gained weight. What has she been doing? That woman, her husband divorced her. That woman, her husband have this issue. The masjid has now become a place of gossip. Ittaqillah.